Well, happy Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. I'm Scotty Roberts. This is our Sunday morning program. It's not the official Intrepid Radio. It is our informal weekend. Let's chat a little bit on Sunday morning and share a cup of coffee. Cheers, by the way. Raini is not with us again today. You can see by the graphic, which is right over there. You can see that Raini is way over in that background corner, way to the right center. If you can see that, she's back there waving. So say good morning to Raini. She is off to another camping thing with our daughter Rowan. And I don't know which camping thing it is for the Scouts this weekend. Last weekend, was it last weekend or the weekend before? They went off to Illinois for a while, and now they're something else. So this was a week we were kind of laughing about it, how this particular week was every night of the week was something with Scouts. And there's something, where Scouts, they push God, family, duty, country, honor, all of those things. At least they used to. Responsibility, obligation. They tap every night of the week some weeks. And where it's like, where's your family time? Unless they're trying to force your family into being an all family thing. I don't know. So yeah, Scotty Roberts is Rainy. That's right. Thank you, Russ, for that. She's out earning her Sasquatch hunting badge. That's pretty much it this morning. I think this was I don't know what it was today. It was a Devil's Lake or something like that, I think was today. No. That would be a different one. So I don't know exactly. Anyway, cheers. Here's to the Scouts who've now changed their name from the Boy Scouts of America to Scouting America. There you go. I'm not against the Scouts. I don't want it to sound like I'm against the Scouts. I'm not. I like the Scouts. I think the Scouts is a good thing. I think it's a good thing for some families. I think it's a good thing for some kids. And so I've got no problem at all with the Scouts. And something sticky on my micro. Oh, some tape got pulled off of that. That's what that was. So tape holding some of my things together here. Well, not together. It was keeping the extra cord up out of the way so it doesn't get twisted around things. A little bit of black electrician's tape. How's that for a topic? What was it? Who was it? Red Green? Talk about duct tape. The handyman's all around handyman's tool. Duct tape. And he'd talk about your wife. If she doesn't find you handsome, she better find you handy. So if you remember Red Green, I don't know if he's still doing a show. That was a long time ago. So Carly Sagan, I just turned on the chat room and I saw Carly Sagan yelling Scotty with an exclamation point. So she says, good morning to everybody. Good morning, Carly. And let me go through here. Hey, Lalanya. It's Lalanya. It sounds like a song, the beginning of a song. Lalanya. I'm noticing that my picture back here of Rainy was reflecting way too much light. There we go. All right. So duct tape, zip ties, handcuffs. Is that what I heard? That's what you heard, Steph. Steph hears what she likes to hear. So good morning, everybody. Steph Cuervo Queen now. Elderberry. And Roger Rabbit is in the room. And Russ is here with the Federation. And Sandra Saunders. And who else we got in here? Morgan Snow is here. And Randall Flagg is sitting. And JP is standing by for the standby. Yeah, sorry about the little tiny bit of lateness this morning. I started the show right at 9, but had to do a couple of things. Had to run and get my coffee and stuff like that. And then my daughter called my older daughter, Abby, on camera phone upstairs and said, "Oh, Dad, I got to use the bathroom. Talk to Abby," and threw me the phone. As I was coming down here, I could have brought her with me. So I keep trying to get Abby and Bryn or one or the other to come on the show on Sunday or any day and talk about their mermaid tail business and the stuff they do and all of that. So I've talked about them enough. It's about time you meet them one of these days. So that held me up a little bit on the standby this morning. You know, everything is quiet and nobody's awake, and Rainy and Rowan are gone for the weekend. So it's Flynn sleeping in upstairs and Ellery sleeping over on the sofa beds in the family room over there down here. So she could be close to where I was. And I'm sleeping a lot, but I'm up at 5 o'clock, you know, and I'm moving around. And everything's quiet and quiet and quiet and quiet until the moment you start radio. so, so there it is. Oh yeah, and it is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. This is it's gonna sound like I'm whining, so put on your wee little violins as I whine about this a little bit. But another thing about scouting that bothers me is our scouts. I don't know if every scout den or pack does this, but Father's Day is always consumed by a scouting event that's an overnight, and not just meant for kids and dads. It's family wide and um, or troop wide. I mean, and then Mother's Day they got it the same thing this year. Well, that's just the way it fell this year. I'm like, it's every year. So I don't like the way scouting ignores some holidays for families, even though there's supposed to be for families. There's my little rant about it this morning. So my extended rant about scouting and holidays and family time and so on. And you know, it's like I think the scouts here in this town, that is their family time. They've always done scouting, and this is what they do as a family. All the kids are involved in scouting. Mom and dad are involved in scouting. So, yeah, there it is. Let's see. Lalanya says, yeah, we had one nader turn right before it got to our house. Oh, tornado. No, I'm glad it turned as it was twisting by. So, happy Mother's Day to all you women out there that are moms, to all you dads out there who put in the extra time. I mean, they do that for moms. It's Father's Day, but for all you moms who have to do dad's jobs too, happy Father's Day to you. It's the same thing. So this is a day to honor Mother's Day. But you know, something we have done in our society, our culture, is that we've appropriated other things that mean things over here, and we brought them. Oh, well, we can make them kind of squish over into this, and we appropriate them for other things, and we lower down the barriers of. It would be like scouting itself, where it was all it was men mentoring boys to young men. Mentoring. There's nothing wrong with men mentoring boys. But suddenly, a few years ago in our society, it became something, well, you can't exclude girls, you can't exclude women. And it became a political thing. And so scouts opened up to girls. I was at first against it. Then I saw, well, it's kind of nice because my two daughters get to go do the things that my son was doing. Now, they were part of Girl Scouts. At least Rowan, my older girl, was. And it was lame compared to Boy Scouts, admittedly. They Boy Scouts would go out in the woods and learn survival skills and how to build a fire and pitch a tent and do all those fun things and earn badges for it. And girls would go to Girl Scouts, and the leaders there would have arts and crafts every week. And so, and sell cookies half of the year. So there you go. I will pass that on, Elderberry, to Rainey. Happy Mother's Day, Rainey, he says. And Field Guy is putting in his 2 cents. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. Stay sexy. There's Fieldy's contribution to Mother's Day for you today. And Ellery Roberts just sent me something on my phone. Let's see. And so I do not want to diminish Mother's Day, but some of those kinds of holidays, they just don't. The Boy Scouts don't honor it, or the Scouting America now doesn't honor it the way I wish they would. So that's kind of sad. And now, are we in a society that no longer can have organizations where men mentor boys and no girls allowed, the He-Man Woman Haters Club on a Boy Scouting level? Is it not allowed anymore? Sorry, pardon my runny nose. I've had my sniffles. I've had this cold for a week now, and it started last Sunday. And it's been kind of a dry cold all week until the last day or so. It's been a little sniffly and get a dry cough and blah, blah, blah. I got it from my kids, so about a week ago. So there you go. It started on Monday. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about our society that we have? Is it a blending? Is it an attempt to blend the sexes? Is there, if you go way back from this issue and you start looking at the bigger picture of okay, don't think I'm crazy for saying things this way, but what if we if you look at our society and you say, well, it starts with accepting homosexuality, then lesbianism, which, okay, it's there. There's adults. They're adults. They're welcome to do that. It extended over into the LGBTQ movement, then over into the trans movement has been getting really big, and there's a little kickback on that now. Finally, it's almost like it became, you would be labeled and doxxed and canceled if you didn't want to go along with that agenda. And there's a lot of people out there that doesn't think it needs to be its own agenda. So you've got all of that. Then you've got the blending of the sexes or the blurring of the sexes, where because of all of that movement, it seems everything. And now I'm speaking out of my ass here because I don't know all the issues. I'm just thinking out loud with this, and you can correct me, slap me down if you think I need to be slapped down, contribute to this. I think that all of that has also lent itself to the watering down of male energy, effort, participation in society. The whole women's movement is wrapped up in that. It's that you have to have, and I believe in equality for everybody. So it's not that I'm against equality. I'm against it when it becomes a movement. It wraps itself into the Me Too movement. Because a woman's lips are moving about something, she must be right because the woman said so. Well, a woman wouldn't falsely accuse a man, although I've seen it several times. It's happened to me. So you see all of that, then you see things as what you would think it'd be as benign as something like scouting, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts of America, Girl Scouts of America. Girl Scouts, unless I miss something, I don't see a lot of men and boys pushing for their boys to be part of Girl Scouts. But you've got the opposite. You've got a lot of girls pushing to be part of the men's groups and the boys' clubs. So, yeah, Roger Rabbit, you're right. It's interesting that they're blending the sexes, yet further dividing, well, if that'll come up, there we go. Further dividing races and religions. You're right. And, Boy Scouts used to be very strong religiously, but, probably more Judeo-Christian than anything else. But just look at it for a moment from the point of view of our society. I was going to say dumbing down the sexes. It's not what they're doing. They're diminishing the differences and saying everybody's got to be the same. What are we? Are we pushing to have one androgynous society? Are we pushing to have a society that is all finally blended down? If you took every color and religious and minority group and majority group, put them all in a blender, perfectly made a puree out of it and poured it into people molds, is that what we're looking for? Is that what equality is? Is that what diversity is all about? Isn't diversity about supposedly celebrating the differences that you have, celebrating your heritage? I'm Welsh. Probably not a lot of Scottish in me, as much as I thought earlier because of some of our roots. But I'm more Welsh, and now I find out I'm more Scandinavian by my DNA. There's a lot of Scandinavian blood in there, although there are no Scandinavian names in my DNA going all the way back into the 1600s, or the late 1500s. Nothing Scandinavian. So where'd all the Scandinavian blood come from? That's you're going to find that probably way back. I always say it's probably the Viking raids, into northern Scotland and England and Ireland and so on. So Randall Flagg says it's all going to crash down if we don't fix it. And I agree with you. And I think this is also something that it's one of those things that somebody would respond to me on the left, or somebody who doesn't think it all the way I think, and they would, hold on. I've been sneezing all week too, like crazy. You'd think maybe it's allergies. I don't know. I know I mowed the lawn on Monday, and that's when I first saw all the signs of this. My scratchy throat and stuffiness. And I tried to mow yesterday too. So I probably kicked up a lot of stuff. It's that season. Anyway, Morgan Snow says, wonder if trans men can become nuns. Can they? Wouldn't that be interesting? And why don't you see a lot of trans women trying to participate in the NFL? Do they get trans women that are asking? Women that have transitioned to men? Men in quotes, because they're still women. They're biologically women. And you've got the left that can't even, most of them, identify what a woman is. Tell me what a woman is. And we've seen it over and over and over again in some of the confirmation hearings and things like that, where they ask somebody, well, what's a woman? And they can't define it. They refuse to define it. Why? For fear of the kickback, for fear of being labeled as somebody who actually defines what a biological person is, man or woman. So, and I don't know how YouTube will react to this. Maybe they'll ban this show. I just got a show of mine banned. And I hate that because they banned the show. We had to ban one of your shows just yesterday. I got the email. We had to ban one of your shows because of medical misinformation. And I'm like, I never talk about medical stuff. When is it from? I don't even know when it's from, what show it was. And it even has a link. You can listen to the show and see. I'm like, I don't know what show you're talking about because they don't give me a link and they don't tell you what the show is. It could have been something I did 5 years ago, the way they've been going. So I got a show pulled yesterday for medical misinformation. Don't know what the show was. So, but I'll still challenge it because I'm going to tell them, take a look again. And I would like to know specifically what it is I said that was medical misinformation. Because their bots do that. It does it automatically, and you have no idea what they're talking about half the time, and neither does any human being over there. So it's going to usher in the age of cats, says Randall Flagg. There you go. Yeah, cats will be the dominant species on the earth. So, yeah, the Grand Canyon will become a big cat litter box. Anyway, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Am I way off base saying these things? Is this something? Is this the gradualism that they spoke about when I was in high school? They always, and of course, I was in a religious school, and my church was linked to my school and my college and my seminary, and all those things linked together, and they were all the same people, and so we always heard the same thing. We heard the talk of gradualism spiritually, gradualism politically, how our country falls by little bits, little tiny steps at a time of gradual decay and decline. So we're not allowed to have options, says Lelania. Well, that's very true. We aren't. Uh, well, I hit the wrong button somewhere. I don't even know how I hit that button. I was clicking on what Roger said here, and suddenly I disappeared. Here's what Roger said. He said, I know we're supposed to love everyone. Um, I'm a cat lover, yet I'm not sure I could fully love a person who identifies as a cat. You and me both, Roger. I'm sorry, you want to do what? I'm sorry, you poop in a box? Honey, nice dating you, but this might not work in the long run. Yeah, I know what you mean, Roger. Steph says, what did the manifesto say? Aren't we checking off all the things on the list? Well, exactly. So, yeah, I kicked the plug out of the wall. No, I exited the whole broadcast, and it's still going. I didn't turn off the broadcast, but all I did was scroll up here to click on Roger Rabbit, and the chat room scrolled up as I was clicking, and I would have clicked on the next person down, which would have been Lelania again. But somehow it took me totally out of my broadcast. So I'm back. Steph said, poof, I'm gone. And Lelania's trying to cook and chat. There, see, it scrolled again. I already hit that one before, and now I can't get. Every time I go to turn off the text down below, it scrolls, and I hit another one. So there you go. Stop pushing buttons. Exactly. So color guard. Humans do poop in boxes, says the Federation. Porcelain ones, yes, maybe so, maybe so. So, or is Cologuard? Is that a drug they give us older men so we poop okay? I don't even know what Cologuard is. I have to look that up now. Well, why don't I look it up right now? Cologuard, the official site. It's a home colon cancer test. How to get Cologuard? I can get it through my health partners insurance here, according to just a quick link over here. So 5 best colon test kits, at-home colon cancer screening test, so on and so on and so on. There you go. I have to wonder sometimes, and this is for all of you guys who might be getting up there in years just a little bit. Have you ever noticed that you don't pee the same? We used to have, when I was in college and we'd take big long road trips, we'd have contest to see who could hold their pee the longest before we had to pull over and pee in the bushes or pee at a gas station. And we could go for hours. Now, my body will say to me, hey, let's pee right now. And I go, okay, I'm getting up. And you're like, no, wait for me. That's the way my body works nowadays. And when you're a little older, pooping. Not that this is a great topic, but pooping. It's like you'll have 5 days in a row where you're perfectly regular and normal. It's like, wow, I got great poop. And my poop floats, so it's good. I'm eating right. And then you'll have 3 days after that 5, you'll go 3 days with nothing. Not even the urge. You're like, why am I not pooping like I did last week? And then you'll have the 4th day where it finally hits you, and you're like, yes, I'm pooping again. But it's the total opposite of what you had the week before, and that lasts for 2 days, and then the cycle starts all over again. It's like, what the hell is that? Morgan Snow, there's not even a 30-second rule some days anymore, and that's just doesn't count anymore. We used to have that. So anyway, maybe that's what Cologuard is supposed to help you, is that burgeoning colon issues, stomach issues, intestine issues, or is it just merely you're getting older and your body doesn't work the same it used to? Why do colon cancer screening is what yes, colon cancer screening. And so poop is a daily topic in this house, says Roger Rabbit. Kinsey, born with an incomplete digestive system, and Carly, with a handful of digestive issues, always poop talk. Oh boy. Yeah. Raini does that to me, and I do that to her sometimes. You hear, she'll walk through the room and she goes, oh man, I got to poop before I poop my pants. I'm running. Or it's like, oh, my poop was weird today. You ever get that in your house? And sometimes I like to regale with Rainy with the full on description, the full Monty of my poo. Wow. I don't know what I ate the other day or over the last 2 days, but is it supposed to come out green and purple? Did I eat, and have the texture of slime? Slime, the stuff that they mix. Why is all of a sudden my music started again? I didn't hit any button that time. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it's like, what the hell? My computer's doing really odd things this morning. So, I watched a new Doctor Who yesterday. I didn't know what to make of it. I thought, I'll watch this. My daughter wanted to watch something we could all watch. So I turned on the new Doctor Who. It's with a African American, black guy, whatever you want to call him, is now the new Doctor, and which I don't care, but I wanted to see what they were going to do with it, and it was very lighthearted compared to some of the Doctor Who's I've seen before, and it was all about little goblins. You'd see things getting moved on somebody. A little hand would come up and move somebody's coffee, and then it would move the cord in front of her foot, so when she reached for the coffee and took a step, she'd trip and knock over a lamp. And it showed all these things. Then they were stealing babies to feed the big, gigantic goblin. These goblins were just little creatures, 2 feet tall at most. And they had a floating, what looked like a pirate ship made out of wood and ropes up in the sky. They'd drop a rope ladder down. That's how they got in. Anyway, so I'm watching that show. And I don't know why I brought up Doctor Who now. I got off on describing the show, and I'm not sure why I was going to bring that up. It was for a conversation point. But anyway, I watched that yesterday. Now that I've told you that, there's no relevance that I can think of to what I was saying. Anyway, we were talking poo, and it just gets weirder and weirder. And I'm hoping there's like a poo connection to that story I was telling about that, but I can't think of one. So, Doctor Who. Anyway, watch the new Doctor Who. If you like Doctor Who, yeah, Doctor Pooh, as Steph says. I seriously don't know why I brought that example up. I was going to use that. I was watching Doctor Who yesterday, and boom. Anyway, no, I didn't watch it while I was pooping. Didn't have to get up and poo. Didn't even think about poo while I was watching that. So I have no idea now. Was I changing topics? I don't know. My brain's doing this a lot lately too. And on top of everything else, on top of scouting, on top of talking about camping, vacationing, not getting enough time with the family, talking about eating right, talking about pooping, talking about the color of your poo, the texture of your poo, and things like that. I'm tired. I'm more tired than I have ever been. I'm tired all the freaking time. I don't know if you can see it in my eyes. I am fully wide awake, but I look at myself in the mirror and I go, man, I look like I'm half asleep. And sometimes I feel that throughout the day. My energy might be high, my mental energy is high, and all of a sudden I could fall asleep talking on the phone. Or I fall asleep. Sometimes I'm working on the computer. I'm doing work this week. And I'm like, I nod off and I'm like, oh man, I'm tired. So maybe Morgan Snow, I don't know. But we get auroras all the time. She says Earth got smacked. Wonder about the after effects. We get auroras all the time. Then again, we usually see them when they're big. We'll see them here in Minneapolis, St. Paul area in Minnesota, and over here in western Wisconsin. I don't know. We got very little, I heard. It showed up, but it was brighter down in where my daughters live in North Carolina, Charlottesville, Charlotte, North Carolina. Roger says, I feel like a zombie on my best days for the last 6 months. Wait 30 years, Roger. I'm assuming you're about 30 years younger than me. When I was 33, I was on fire. You couldn't stop me. There's nothing made me tired. Scott Allen says, hello, everyone from Charlotte, North Carolina. Scott Allen, I just mentioned Charlotte a minute ago. Did you happen to see my daughter sent me pictures of the aurora yesterday from Charlotte, where they both live? So Steph says there are more ions so you can see it. Now you figure with all that electricity, it's got to go somewhere. And they determined to go to the center of the earth and then it comes back up. But where does it come up? Hey, Val, good morning. Val, are you doing are you camera ready? Do you want to do a little plug for Wicked Women? Are you doing a Wicked Women today? I don't know if you are. Wendy had to pull the plug on Robertson this week because all the shows and stuff she's doing with her car and her presence at Comic-Cons and things like that. So I don't know if you are actually doing one this week or not. Scott Allen says, I didn't even know about it until after everyone started putting. Same here. My daughter said, did you get them up here? And I said, I didn't hear about it until this just now. And so I missed it up here. But I have seen, only a couple times have I ever seen the aurora. Sometimes you think you might be seeing a little bit of it, but you usually see it late summer to early fall is when you see it up here. And there was one time, it's when we lived on the ranch, and it was the same ranch Rainey and I had, the ranch that we were buying from the old cowboy. And I was actually, if you don't know this part of the story, I had been buying that ranch before with my ex-wife. And my ex-wife and I lived out there for a few years. And then we went through the divorce. And I sold it back to Mac, or we just turned everything back over to the cowboy. And I bumped into him a few years later He was out driving a team. I was driving down that country road, and he happened to be out on the back road, driving a team, training a team to pull a wagon. And we got to talking, and that's where I told him, I one of these days I said I sure miss the ranch. I'd love to buy that ranch again. And he said, that's where he gave me the line. Well, Mr. Roberts, ain't but two people done love this place, you and me. If you want it, it's yours. And so we cut a quick deal, and after I talked to Rainey, of course, and we went ahead and bought that place again. But so the first time I was out there, I was a creative director in an ad agency in the city, and it was I had about an hour drive each way, both days, and we had a big client thing coming up, and I ended up staying till about 10 o'clock at night to get this thing finished. And I'm driving home, and I'm seeing Northern Lights. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it's almost 11 o'clock at night. And I'm going down our road. We had a big, long dirt road that went about a quarter mile, and then it curved into our barnyard, and it ended, that dirt road. And that dirt road went east-west. And so as I'm going, I see right out the north, because I'm going east on the road. I can see them right out my driver's side window. And they were just spiking up all along the horizon. And I thought, I got to get my kids for this. And I ran in the house. I don't remember saying anything to my wife at the time. I might have said, hey, you got to come out and see the Northern Lights. But I remember grabbing Abby and Bryn. They were we lived at the ranch, they were 7 or 8 years old. And I woke them up. It's 11:15 at night. And I put one of them on my back. I said, hang on now. And the other one, I held her in the front and walked them down the stairs. And we went outside, and we had a big barn light in our yard. So I walked over to the pole, and I pulled the plug, the big power pack, off of the barn line. Went dead and black. And I said, now look at the sky. And it was amazing. And they spiked up, and it went in over my head. There was kind of a circle of spikes, and it was blank in the middle, and it was really unique. And I said, wow, that's very cool. And so I had a good time with the girls doing that. That's one of their fond memories, I think, of childhood. And then I also, Abby and Bryn, if either of you are listening, I just talked to Abby just before the show started. She said she might tune in. If you tune in, come on in, come on over here and talk to us. But there was another time. It was after their mother I had announced I was divorcing her because, and it was a lot led up to that. She had started that a couple of times herself. But finally I said, I'm done. There's the papers. They're on the table over there. You need to sign those, and you need to go find a place to live. And this was after a lot had led us up to that point. And and this was in particular, I was stating she was an alcoholic. And you wouldn't know it by looking at her. I've said this before. She was good looking. She was intelligent. She dressed well. She was very cosmopolitan, for lack of a better way to put it. But she was an alcoholic. I'd come home many nights from working at the ad agency, and the kids would be playing in the living room, and she's passed out on the sofa. And so after a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't lighthearted. It was not a light decision. I said, this is it. She had come down one morning, and she was looking to create the picture, looking damn sexy in her very short robe, one of those silky, flowery robes. She was all legs and blonde hair, and she was raging about something, but she was hungover. And I was dressed and ready to go to the office, the ad agency. And as she's going, I said, are you done now? I said, because I said, sitting over on the table, there's that stack of papers sitting there. I said, I'm filing for divorce and I'm filing for custody of the children, which was just Abby and Bryn at that point, my twins. And I said, so you don't have to hit the bricks today, but you got to find a place to live. Now, all of that is setting context. That afternoon, I get a call from work that from the pastor's wife. And my wife had checked herself into alcohol treatment. And she was gone for several months from the home. Now, it was during this period where I first started becoming sole mom and dad to my children. And there was all of that as a little background. Hey, Heather White, I'm just out of a toxic alcoholic relationship. It was brutal. Man, I hear you, Heather. And that's, I will say this on that point before I get to my story. Heather, when I was single again, when that divorce was final, a couple of years later it took before it was finally over. And, well, it was more than that because my daughters were 10 at the time it was finalized. I started seeing a woman, and I didn't feel like we're officially dating. Hey, Michelle and I are dating. It wasn't anything like that. It was we were just seeing each other and got to like each other. I bumped into her at the festival, and she was a patron, and I was an entertainer, and we got together and we hung out a little bit, and and she was beautiful, and I really liked her, and she really liked me, and this was right around the time of my 42nd or 43rd birthday, somewhere in there. And other people would say, you two are really should be together and blah, blah, blah. But she was, at the time, she had trouble with alcohol. And as good as she looked, as beautiful and sexy and intelligent and fun, and she was doing, she worked managerial. I think she was working for a liquor store, a wine company and a liquor store. And all of the good things about her, I couldn't stand. And Heather, you'll get this. This is why I brought this up. Couldn't stand the drinking. You got to get a handle on that. Oh my goodness, Heather, 10 years of unhappy. That just ended. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Heather. That not sorry to hear that it's breaking things up. Sorry to hear you had to go through that for 10 years before that issue was finally resolved. Even when it's parting for bad reasons like that, it's still heartache that you have to go through. But I was going to say, let me jump to the story before I wander so far away from it that I don't. It was during this period of time that my wife went into treatment. My ex-wife to be went into treatment. She was not living at home. And I was doing, this is where I really got to know my daughters much more personally. And I was working at the ad agency, so I would gear everything around them. Ad agency, I told them it's an hour commute. I'm not coming in. You won't see me till about 9:30 in the mornings because I've got my kids to get to school, and then I can drive in. And it was only the bus. I remember, I don't know why I remember this time, every day like clockwork, 8:12 a.m. The bus would pull all the way down into our barnyard and pick them up. And so I would do everything to gear everything in my schedule around them. If I had to work late, I had a family of one of the farms that would watch kids. And I had my kids dropped off on the bus at her house, and I would pick my kids up by between 5:30 and 6 and bring them home for dinner. And there we were together for the rest of the night. And so many good stories from that time. But there was one time There's an astronomical event, and this is what I'm getting at. The first one about the aurora was when my wife was still in the house. Now, we got home, and the stars were really bright. And out there was no real light other than our barnyard light, not like the city. And I said, wow. I said, we got in the house. I said, everybody. I said, now it must have been a little later because there was grass. It wasn't winter. It wasn't dark that early. So it was later in the evening. And I said to the kids, my daughters, I said, run and get every blanket in the house, every blanket and every pillow you can think of. And they start giggling. They're like, why? I go, just do it. I'll show you. Grab them all and drag them out into the front yard. So here's my little girls. They're giggling, and they're 8 or 9 years old, and they're grabbing every blanket in the house, every pillow in the house. I told them every cushion from every sofa or chair. And so we've got 20 pillows outside and cushions, and God, probably just as many blankets. And I said, now help me spread these out. And we took the blankets and we just spread them on top of each other and made this big padded, and we put the pillows all around and the cushions underneath and pillows everywhere. And I said, take half of these blankets, peel them back. Let's all crawl in. We all crawled in the front yard, and I had pulled the plug on the big barn light. I said, now let your eyes adjust. I said, lay here with me in the grass in 20 blankets and pillows and look at the sky. And I had one arm around each one, just laying right next to me. And I said, now look at that sky. Isn't that amazing? And we talked about the constellations we could see and so on. And I said, Heather, I want to get to what you're saying there. Don't go away. I want to talk about this a little bit. I said, every time you look at the sky long enough, I said, something amazing is going to happen. And as if the sky was listening, almost on the heels of my saying that, there were 2 shooting stars. And my daughters squealed and laughed. Did you see that? I said, yeah, I saw that. I said, see what I mean? And I said, the sky just gave you each a star tonight for watching. And it was amazing. I just reminded my daughter Abby of that when she was telling me about the aurora. And she said, I remember that vividly. And so we did stuff like that when it was just us at home. And I think that's the stuff that really started to deepen our relationship as dad and daughters. But Heather, you said, I'm great now. Don't you worry. But she says, he says, I've ruined his life and left him with nothing, which is a lie. I left him the flat, my car. He had a job, but threw it all away to keep drinking. Now, was that before you didn't just leave him the flat and the car and the and everything? That I'm assuming there's a progression and evolution that went on here, and that led up to this final move. And he just kept drinking. Yeah. And my ex was kind of the same way. You know, we were both partiers and drinkers when we first met, my ex-wife and I. And we met in 1989, January of 1989. And we were married in December of 1989, almost a year later. And so 1989 till now would be what, 90? That's 34. We would have married 35 years. And my twins are 32. Yeah, for years he was kicked out in rehab. Yep. I get it, Heather. And I understand that. And I assumed that would not have been the first time you had to do something about that. Well, with my ex, there was twice she had filed for divorce on me. And the first time my daughters were 3, and you all know these stories, so I'm not going to get into them. But she filed divorce on me, and the first time she did that, she made all sorts of outlandish claims that I was abusing her and beating her, and because I'm so much bigger than she is, every time she pulled a cockamamie story like that, called the cops or something, I had to leave because I'm the big male in the house, and she wasn't. And um, she was actually very waifish in build, uh, and tall and waifish. But I was considered to be a threat just by my size, the visual, and so she had done that before, and then during the divorce, she made those claims. I was beating her and abusing her, and thought I was. She made the charge that I was abusing my children, and that she was afraid I was engaging in child porn with them. You all know that story. I've told that before. And the one thing, for those of you who haven't heard this part of the story, I'll just say the one thing that really stood out on that was she was using pictures of my children, my twins, when they were 2, swimming in the bathtub, and saying that she's afraid I'm engaging in child porn with them. Well, the neat thing is that one of our friends, our mutual friends, she had written a letter to and had sent copies of those pictures 6 months earlier that said, "Look at these wonderful pictures Scotty and I took of the girls. It looks like they're doing water ballet." And, so stuff like that. You heard all about that story. And I might as well say it because I'm here, and I've told the story before, but there was, when we were before the judge, and it was a closed courtroom because they were going to file a restraining order on me over her charge during the custody battle, and that I'd have to have supervised visitation with my kids because of her charges. The judge held up the picture, and it was blown up into an 8.5 by 11. And my friend down in Florida, our mutual friend, her girlfriend had sent these pictures up with a letter, had the pictures stamped with an affidavit, or stamped with the state seal of Florida as official affidavits. And so the judge sat down, the very first things out of his mouth. He sat there and he went, said, "Mrs. Roberts." That's the first thing he said. And he takes one of those pictures and he holds it up like this. And he holds it way out in front of the bench like this. Leans over and he says, "If this is child porn," and he's addressing her, "Mrs. Roberts, if this is child porn," and then he did this. He threw it out on the floor in front of the bench. He said, "We're all in a hell of a lot of trouble today." And I saw her just melt into the chair and turn white as a sheet. And there she and her lawyer are whispering, and lawyer wanted to make not admissible this picture or the letter written by her. But our friend did the wise thing. She had done that all officially through the state of Florida, through the district attorney's office, and had that done. And so the judge says, "I'm allowing it." He says it's pertinent. So anyway, all that to say that. So, yeah, I went several times to this, and that's one of the times that we reconciled afterwards with all the weird charges and all of that, because I wanted to make it work. So Heather, I only bring all of that up to say I understand being to that table and leaving the table and coming back and leaving and coming back, saying, "Oh, there's hope here. We can do this. Maybe we can make this work. We're going to work. He's going to do that. He's going to take care of this. He's going to take." And unless it's a really sincere heart change, it's like they say about guys who cheat. They will always be cheaters. It's going to happen again. Well, unless they make a heart change. And it's the same thing with alcoholism or anything else that's tearing a family apart. Um, so I get it, Heather. I really do. Um, Randall Flagg said I had a slew of alcoholics in my family. Turned me off to daily drinking. Yeah. You know what? I like to drink as much as the next guy. And but I don't do an awful lot of it anymore. Uh like I say, tongue in cheek, I was a notorious drinker when I was a young man. Maybe not so young to all of you out there, but when I was in my 30s and 40s, and I drank a lot, and I drank with my buddies. We drank scotch and Guinness and things like that, and but I was never really ever out of hand, and I'm not now at all. I have friends that will say, "Hey, let's have a drink," and I'm like, I got kids at home. I can't do it tonight." So anyway, Heather says, chucked him out so many times. He promised everything, never kept one promise. Then he was so drunk, falling about, shouting in my face in front of my kids. And I was like, you'll never do this again. Oh, man, I hear you, Heather. You know what? You're never going to do that again. I hear that. And with my ex, she did some crazy things. I don't know if she was drinking all the time, or if, it's like some alcoholics, they drink so much that they drink to get in their car, and it literally is not affecting them because their resistance is so high. They have to drink so much to get that feel and to have it affect them. There are times I think my ex was drunk all the time. And there was one time we were out at the ranches before we broke up and ended it, before the divorce, let's call it that. I'm standing outside. I'm talking to the old rancher, the old cowboy. He's around 70 years old, and we're talking about the ranch and stuff. We're standing out on the barnyard, right in front, right at the edge of the grass of the front lawn of the house. And one of his ranch hands was there with us. And my wife, my ex-wife, came running outside, not a stitch of clothing on. And I'm telling you, she was a good-looking woman and built very well. And she ran outside and she threw her hands in the air and she ran a big circle around the front yard right in front of us and yelled, "I'm naked! I'm naked!" and back into the house. Now, she'd been drinking. And we all stood silent for a second and watched her perform this. It lasted all of 5 to 10 seconds. And the old cowboy, he looks at me, he goes, "Mr. Roberts, that woman is tainted goods." That's what he said. So it wasn't unappealing, but it was really alcoholic driven behavior. So, oh, Heather, pure emotional abuse, blackmail. It was so draining. Yeah, I hear you on that. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of emotional blackmail, which can happen in relationships. That's a relationship topic we once talked about on the show. Emotional blackmail happens all the time in relationships. And it's like emotional extortion. I will do this for you or give you this much of me if you do what I want, or whatever it might be. Now, just relate that to alcoholism, and you get the idea how that all works. Yeah, tainted goods. That's right. So, yeah, I've got a whole litany of things that have. There was one time where my kids were. I was picking up the kids on a weekend because I had not won sole custody yet. And in all this, believe when I say we went to court a few times for divorce, after one of the times we reconciled and all that, when this final one was coming up, I tell this story. We produced another child in the middle of the divorce. which was dumb, except that's where my son Sam came from. There would be no Sam if I hadn't done something dumb that day. And you've heard me tell this story too on the show when we get into really dark, serious topics about it. But I went home to the ranch one day collecting more of my clothes and things because I had moved out. And I was up in the bedroom going through the closet. And my ex-wife, we were already separated. The divorce had not been filed yet, but we were separated. And she came into the room stark naked and said, "We can do this one more time before we get divorced." No, the papers must have been filed because she said before the divorce is final. And me being a red-blooded American male, what do you suppose I said? Yeah, I mean that's the way it was. And it was a couple of weeks later where I took the family to church and she was standing next to me. We were singing a song in church, a hymn, the congregation was. And she turns her head to me and she goes, "I'm pregnant." Just like that. "I'm pregnant." And I turned back and I said, "Whose is it?" And literally, I seriously thought that. And I seriously did not think it was my child. Because if you remember my story a little bit, not to get too personal, but I was supposedly not able to father children. You'd never know that from a man who has 6 kids, would you? But I was not supposed to be able to father children. And low sperm count, low motility. And my twins came because they had me on medication that was supposed to increase the motility or the swimming power of my little soldiers. And the average male, okay, folks, this is adult talk. Average male will, when he ejaculates, produces about, I think it's up to 200 million spermatozoa per cc. Well, mine was at about 4 million, from 200 optimum to 4 million. So low. They were slow. They were like, some days I don't feel like doing anything. But that's the way mine was. Well, and of course, we had gone 9 years without a child. Well, 8 years at the point we had that divorce sex. In 8 years without a child. And trust me, she was fairly prolific in that category. The alcoholism, I think, increased that. She was always wanting to do it. Sorry to put it that way. It was just that's my remembrance of that marriage, is that it sucked, but the sex was good. And so I always make the joke that we had that sexual encounter during the divorce proceeding, not during the proceedings, but during the time period. And I say, well, I may not have many, but they stormed the beach. Apparently, they were like the Navy SEALs. There's a reference for you, JP. Here's a military reference. Or the Rangers, because it's your army. How about that? So, so my son came screaming into the world into the middle of the divorce. And I literally did not think it was my child because we'd had sex for 8 years since my twins and there were no other children. So, she wanted more. There was never protected sex or anything like that. It was just, and it was all the time, but there was never another child. So, there you are. JP and Heather both laughing. There it is. He's laughing his ass off, and she's crying. She's laughing so hard. So, all of this to say that my ex-wife became, like you just mentioned, Heather, a dry alcoholic. She had, during that time we were apart, a few years earlier, she went to all the alcoholic treatment. She became overtly AA focused. Everything. She didn't want me to be able to drink. Well, okay, I understand your weakness. She took all my scotches and dumped them down the drain one day, and I didn't drink like she did. I drank rarely. And so, okay, we accommodated. But that alcoholism kept kicking back. I don't know if you've heard of this, Heather, in all the years you've had to deal with it. But those of you in the chat room that have dealt with alcoholics and alcoholism, she was a dry alcoholic, meaning she didn't drink anymore, but she still exhibited all the behaviors of somebody who was an alcoholic. And now I don't know what she's done years since now, since I didn't have to deal with her every day. When my daughters grew up and they founded their business, and they would talk to their mom and so on, but I didn't have to talk to her. And then my son Sam is now 23. He was in her home until he was 18. Well, she was his parent until he was 18. He'd gotten into trouble when he was 15, 16, and was out of the home. Both of our homes, in the system, not in delinquent jail, but he got put in a home, so on, so on, so on. We sent him to dealing with drug issues and things like that for several months and several different things. So he was out of the home. I felt he should have been here, but Raini at the time could not deal with that. He was stealing from her, and Sam will admit all this because he's changed. He's a different man. You all know Sam now. When Sam and I get together to drink on this show, that's the most I ever drink at one sitting ever. And so to tell you how often I drink. And so Sam turned out pretty well for being born into divorce and the ongoing problems. And there was a time where there was something you said earlier, Heather. You said when he wasn't drinking, his moods were horrendous. His presence was so overwhelmingly thick, if that makes sense, it does. Always walking on eggshells. Yeah, I know what that's like. You're always walking around that person. And anybody here who's dealt with alcoholics and alcoholism knows exactly what you're talking about. You were always on eggshells. You were always wondering, when is the next shoe going to drop? Hey, Carlene. And I went to pick up the kids. I started this story. The divorce had not finalized yet. Sam was in the world. That's why I brought up the story about Sam, because he wasn't when the whole thing started, and he was by the time we were getting close to the end of it, the legal process. And I was getting kids on the weekends, and she came to drop the girls off, who were 9 or 10, I think 10 at the time. And Sam was a baby. He's a year old, under a year. And so their mom was arguing with me outside. I have them all in. They're all buckled and we're ready to take off. And my ex-wife is arguing with me about, I don't even remember what the content was. Something about where to meet, or, and she wanted something. And I said, no. No, that's not what the paperwork says. I'm not doing that. And she tried to pull Sam out of his car seat, baby seat, which was in between the girls in the back seat. And I said, stop. And of course, I have learned long ago, I can't put my hands on her. I can't even grab her by the coat and pull her out and say, knock it off. Because then by the new rules of everything, that's violence. But I think at this point, she was wearing a short coat, a waistcoat, and I grabbed the tail of her waistcoat and I pulled her out of the car door. I didn't throw her to the ground or act violently. I just pulled her out and I let go and I go, "Stop it. That's it." I said, "Enough." And she hauled back and horked one up and spit in my face. And I had glasses on, thank goodness. But when she did that, she ran for her car and she bolted out, squealing rubber, burning rubber on the way out of the parking lot where we had met. And I got into the car, and my daughters were like, the baby Sam didn't see any of this. He's half asleep, crying a little bit. And my daughters were like, Abby said to me, "Dad, because I turned and I said to them, well, and I started to take off my glasses because they were full of spit. And Abby said, "Dad, I have never seen anything like that. Not even, that's like something on TV." And my reaction at the time, I always tried to keep the peace. But there's times, listen, when you're a peacekeeper in a situation, are there ever times where you've got to extend your hand to do something? What's the big thing nowadays? Men especially, this can apply to women too, but it was being talked about men. You need to be dangerous. Not dangerous in that you are an imminent threat, but dangerous that is cloaked or covered over by your ability to be the peacemaker and to be strong and know when to use it, so that the dangerousness sometimes has to come out. And it's like, you will not do that kind of danger, or there are consequences. And so in that particular case, I had to measure the moment and say, I'm yanking her out of that car door because she's trying to pull the kid out without unbuckling his seat, and she's leaning over one of the other kids. I pulled her out of there. Like I said, I didn't throw her to the ground or whip her around. I just pulled her out, and she just followed suit and pulled out because she felt me tug on her coat. And I said, "That's enough. Stop now." And I got spit in the face. Thank you, Steph. That is just the beautiful thing I needed to hear this morning. I'm dangerous in the sheets. She says, in the kitchen. LOL. Either or. Like I used to say, in the bed, on the vanity, on top of the fridge, on the kitchen table, on the countertop, push the toaster out of the way. So dangerous in the sheets or dangerous in the kitchen. So had to, and that, yes, it's disgusting. She did that kind of stuff in front of my kids all the time, Heather. So that's the way she was. Mom had that dangerous look. You knew when to stop, says Randall Flagg. Bingo. So all of that to say, Heather, because we're talking about a little bit using you as the catalyst to talk about some of this stuff. I've dealt with alcoholics, and many of us in this group have too. I've never been one. The closest I come to any kind of addiction was smoking, but that was an addiction of choice. And it's when I stopped and I was done. That doesn't mean I don't have a cigarette every now and then. My record as of a week ago was 3 cigarettes in 9 months because I just decided to quit. Then last Sunday, when I went out to Heather Marie, my different Heather who comes in here every now and then, our friend Heather Marie, she has twin boys who are 11, had a birthday party for them out at the lake, the Bend shelter out at the park. and it was beautiful and sunny, and that's where I got all my sun. And she smokes, and so I said, I'm going to smoke one. I'm in company, and I sat and talked, and I had 2 or 3 smokes that day on Sunday last week. Easy. That's how easy it could come back. But then I haven't had one since. So it was in the setting, and the setting was right, and I said, there you go. I'm done. I have burn marks I'll never learn. I'm assuming you're talking about danger in the sheets or in the kitchen and not smoking. So that's so nice to hear, Steph. That's the picture in our heads. Heather says, I drink social wise. I'm a nice, happy drinker. LOL. But could never have a drink with him. It wasn't a good time. Yeah, bingo. Exactly. I had the woman I dated 20 plus years ago. In between my divorce and meeting Rainey was a period of about 5 years. Well, no, it was less than that. Divorce was final in 2001. I want to say April of 2001. My divorce was final, and Rainey and I started dating or hanging out August of 2005. So almost 4 years, and we didn't start dating until the flip of the year over into 2006. No, see, I can't say that. Rainey and I had been together since August of 2005. I was being non-committal for the first 6 months. She owned her own house. I had my own house. But she was living at my place 5 out of 7 days out of the week. And that was okay by me until she wanted a real relation. Is this a real relationship? Well, yeah, of course it is. And but I was the guy that was keeping her at arm's length. I'm not getting into a relationship again. I'm just not doing this again. And because in between that 2001 and that 2005, when Rainey and I started, I'd had about a 3.5, 4 year dating relation, boyfriend, girlfriend, official type of thing with somebody else from the festival. And my divorce wasn't because of her, by the way, unless you do the math. It was very close. It was the divorce wasn't final yet, but my wife and I had been apart since like November of 2000. And I met this woman 9 months later. I met her in late 2001. We started dating, hanging out, and having sex. That's what it was all about at first. And then it turned into a relationship that just dragged on for 3.5, 4 years before that ended. That was over in March of 2005. And by August of 2005, then Rainey and I met. And that's where I said, I just came out of, you all know this other woman. She was a festival woman too. And I said, you all know her, and you all know. And I said to Rainey, I said, you know what I've just come out of? I'm just not doing that again. I'm not doing it again. That's okay. She was biding her time. And it was all that I was like, no, let's not do really. And I even broke off with her once. And then I was afraid I would never get her back. And I scared myself to death in there. And I remember when she came to pick up her stuff, I'm going to tell you something. I'm only talking about this because we all have things like this, and we all have our stories. But Rainey came to pick up her remaining stuff at my house. And she walked in, and she was wearing jeans and in my memory, it's like a men's white shirt, dress shirt, open a little bit or a lot of bit, and hair was perfect, the dark brunette hair. And so the look was, and she was absolutely beautiful, but looked very sad. I remember that. But I wanted to talk to her, and at the same exact time that she arrived, a woman friend of mine also arrived. And unexpected, wanted to go for coffee. And she was being right in front of Rainy. She sat at my desk. My office and studio were in the breezeway of the house. So you could have the front door here, and the back door to the patio was the one that was open for everybody. The garage was behind me through a door, and the kitchen, it was all open to the kitchen. There was a stairway down to the kids' rooms, and this big open area. And this woman came in, and Rainey was there, and she sat in my chair at my desk and put her feet up on the desk and was being very sexual in her talk to me. I was thinking about this and this all the way over here, and, maybe you need to, and this is in front of Rainey. And do you know what I felt at that time? Even though I had broken up with Rainey, I thought to this other woman, you need to get out of here, because I don't want to lose Rainey. And I practically booted her out. And then I got on my knees in front of Rainey at that moment, and I said, look, I love you. I don't want to lose you. I didn't know how much I loved you until I sent you out the door. And, if you'll have me, I'd like to fix this. And of course, she's still here. That was sometime in late 2005. So there you go. But that's a story. That's a one of the love stories. I know we've all got ours and our versions of things. And in between all of this, I had my ex-wife, the alcoholic, that we had to deal with. And thank you, Heather. And so it was a nice story. Now, it hasn't been fraught with its problems and its issues, our marriage. But there's been a couple of times we've threatened to end it. Hey, yeah, you know what? Fuck off. Kind of thing. And we obviously haven't. And and we've got 3 kids, 9, 12, and 14 years old. And she's still here. Some days I think she doesn't like me at all. Some days I think she's okay with me. And I love her. So there it is. But Carlene says, I've been on both sides of alcoholism. I battled it for a while, finally decided to get out of the bad situation I was in. And now I can have one once in a while and no problem. I wasn't a mean drunk. There you go. Yeah, when I get to the point of drinking where I get drunk, I'm never mean. I'm happy. I'm comedic. I'm fun to be around. So hang on, everybody. You know what? My coffee's cold. I know I haven't even put it to my lips yet. I can tell it's cold. I got my warm coffee pot right over there. So we're not taking a big break, but let me play something while I go warm up my coffee. Everybody sit here for a minute. I'll be gone for a minute. A minute. That's it. Don't go away. Don't go anywhere. And I'll be right back. So here we go. Stand by.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid Radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
And we're back. I love that ad, by the way. That was recorded by Raini and my daughter Rowan, who is now 12, about 8 years ago. So Raini would have been about 35 or 36, and Rowan would have been about 4 years old. So there you go. And by the way, Heather says here, haha, burnt butt off the stove. I just noticed that from a little while ago. And yeah, there were times it was like, ouch, 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 what? I've got the, sitting on top of the butter dish or something. Okay. Yeah, there was one time one of my twin daughters, Bryn, walked in on Rainy and I. It was in the afternoon. They had just gotten home from school. We didn't know they were home yet. And we were, Rainy and I were in the master bathroom with the vanity top cleared out and doing our thing. And we weren't married yet. This was early on. So this was still in 2006, I think. And I thought I heard the door. And we looked, and the door was, we had ghosts in that bathroom. So remember that. We weren't sure. And we kind of laughed it off and finished our business. And what happened? A little later in the day, Bryn comes to me and says, Dad, maybe in the afternoons, you and Rainy got to think of locking the bathroom door. And I thought, oh, that was the door I heard. Uh-oh. So, yeah, my at the time, how old would she have been? 2005, 13, 14-year-old daughter was like, Dad, you need to lock the door. So, yep. Oh, there you go. JP, you should edit in animal noises or whoopee whistles, etc., in place of the sleeps. My ass off. Yeah, that would be good. What did Heather say here? It's good to tell each other to fuck off at times. It's healthy. LOL, rather than pretending. Yeah, there's truth to that. And I've said it to Rainy. Rainy said it to me. And then it's usually, one of us comes back and says, I didn't really mean for you to go fuck off. But I needed to say it at the time. Animal noises. Where, JP? Where are you talking about editing in the animal noises? In place of the sleeps. Is that a typo, or do you mean to say something else? What's that in relation to? That comment. I get the editing in animal noises and whoopee whistles and stuff like that. But at what point? For what exactly? So anyway, Heather, I'm with you. Heart's with you. My head's with you on that. I'm sorry that you're going through that, but it's obviously a necessary thing. Oh, the bleeps. Oh, I see what you're saying, JP. In the ad, use animal noises and stuff. Yeah, we could do that. That'd be kind of funny. I have to see how it works. I've got to edit that music out of the background, though. That's the flattened version. Somewhere I have just the raw takes on that, and I can't find it. It's on a disc that's not working, I think. And so I can recut that. I love it because I'm never going to get my 4-year-old daughter to do that again because she's 12 now. And even Ellie is 9 going on 10. So it's different. Now, that is it's a beautiful ad. I'll play it when I can. Every time I play it on my YouTube, they demonetize my episode because the bagpipe music in the background is Gaelic Storm that I used. And at the time we did that 8 years ago, there was not a prohibition against using music like that. Now there is. Oh, where Rainy drops the F-bombs? Yeah. I got that, JP. I got it. Thank you. I know what you mean now. Let's see. The audio over levels at the end of at the end of the clip as well when your voice comes on. You're talking about the Intrepid part? That's not really supposed to be part of the ad. It's cut that way because I used it for radio ins and outs. Different times and the audio is different. Yeah, I get that. At the very end, where we're coming in back into the radio show. Let me see. Here, I'm going to play it again, just so I know. Wrong one. Hold on. That's just me doing the wrong thing. Oh, right here.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid Radio Program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Okay, I see where you're talking about, Scott Allen, but and that was fun to play it again. I like listening to that. My wife and my child, where my voice is, it was modified to deepen my voice already, so it didn't sound exactly like me for the ad. Now I've got Race Hobbs that's done those ins and outs for me. So. Happy Mother's Day to you too, George April. Good to have you here, brother. Okay. I'll have to listen to it. I've never really noticed a problem with it. It was supposed to be different from the ad vocal, so I've never really paid much attention to the difference in volume there. So, anyway. So all that talk. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to you, Heather, if we didn't say that earlier. We've been talking a bit about alcoholism in a relationship prompted by Heather finally having to go through and boot this guy from 10 years. He's gone out of her life. That's probably a good thing. I'm sorry you had to go through it and all that time to get to it, but happy Mother's Day to you. She's got 2 beautiful boys and puts up videos of them all the time. So if you join her over on her Facebook or her Instagram, you can find her there. And if you want to connect with her, and she has been a friend from afar since I was working with Taps Para magazine, which was 2009 to 2010. Those about a year and a half in there. So that's when I got to know Heather. So, but we've never met face to face. We might get the opportunity if I'm up in Scotland. My daughters are planning to take me on a trip to Scotland. We were shooting for the beginning of June, but that I haven't heard anything else about that. They'll tell me. They said it could be last minute when we do it, so that might change to the early fall. I don't know yet. We'll see. Susie Q slept in. She says, "Happy Mother's Day. Guess I slept in." Well, you must have needed it then, huh? So, yeah, it's going to be a gorgeous day here. I wish my wife was here for Mother's Day. She is off with one of our children, my 12-year-old daughter, doing a scout camp thing this weekend. And which bothers me that they schedule things on days like this. They did it on Father's Day too. So, or they have done it on Father's Day too. So, and they're doing some on Father's Day again this year. So there's that. And so how about everybody else? What's going on? It's already 10:45. We are almost done. We've been talking this whole time. Anybody want to call in? You know, the number's here. Mother's Day here is in March. Happy Mother's Day to y'all. There you go. Over in Scotland, it's in March. So yeah, and Father's Day is usually what, folks? It's the third Sunday in June or second Sunday in June. Here, something like that anyway. So Scott Allen's doing yard work. Yeah, Heather says, long time ago, Scotty, feels like I've known you forever. That's the way I feel too. I've always known Heather over in Glasgow. And we've had times where we've talked intensely, and we've had times where we haven't said anything for 2 months at a shot. But she's been a friend and somebody I've known for quite a long time over there in Scotland. And I used to threaten to come and visit her, and then I got married. Somewhere in there. No, I was already married to Raini. So I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Wendy when I say that, because I've known Wendy since before I was married. Jason.
Hello.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm making myself coming and going.
Call in, Heather. Let me put the invite link up. So she doesn't have to go dig it up. She can join you and I.
Yeah, just finished cleaning up the house.
And so the house is now officially empty.
I've got some empty cardboard boxes that I need to pull out, and I'm gonna, vacuum downstairs and stuff like that. But
right.
Basically, tis
I'm
empty.
Look at that.
Empty.
So when do you leave for the new place?
As long as everything goes smoothly.
Caveat.
Everybody crosses everybody's fingers and toes.
Yeah.
I will be trying to get on the road Thursday. So
all right.
I have some things I have to, after I get done here, I got to head into the office and close out some stuff for work. Send it in for edits.
Have you visited the new city or anything since this all started?
No, I had planned on it.
Cold on Thursday.
Well, I'm familiar with St. Louis because I moved out here from Missouri, and when I was at the Fort Leonard Wood area, St. Louis was like 2 hours away. So I've been up to St. Louis more than a few times. So I am not a stranger to the area, but I have not been back to visit.
St. Louis. I've always seen St. Louis in my head. I don't know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always seen it as kind of a dirty city or an ugly city, or it's crime-ridden, or I don't know why I think
there are areas that are bad. I'm my house is in the south end of the city, close to where the city limits end, and it goes into St. Louis County, and that's one of the better places to be in. The places you really want to stay out of are like the south side of the actual city proper, and you want to stay out of north end.
Isn't that where the Chevy Chase and his family end up in their big station wagon and National Lampoon's Vacation? South side of St. Louis?
Was Wally
pull off
World
the highway?
I can't remember.
They're all asleep in the car. He falls asleep at the wheel. They end up going off an exit, south side of St. Louis. They get out of the car in the morning and all the tires are gone.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And you want to stay out of the east side.
Yeah. And here's Heather.
So East St. Louis is horrible,
Hi.
but it's in Illinois, so that makes sense.
How you doing, Heather?
All good. All good.
Right on.
Uh-oh. There's a brogue in the house.
Yes, there's a brogue in the house.
A heavy lilt.
Yes.
Always pleasant to hear.
So how is your weather over there? It's just starting to get summery here. So it's going to be like in the 80s today. What's it like over there? Is it warm?
The last 3 days it's been scorching. Well, it's 24 Celsius, but that's boiling for us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you say Celsius? We only deal in freedom degrees here.
Freedom degrees. Yes. Fahrenheit.
Well, it's 24 something. I don't know the technicalities. But
Neither do I.
it's sunny, but a bit windy.
Oh,
nice.
Look at that. Very nice.
Still a bit windy.
What is the tattoo you have on your hand? There.
It's a scarab beetle.
Oh, very nice.
Scarab.
Oh, there it is.
What motivated the scarab tattoo?
Pretty much what? Just for what it stands for, really. Not because it pushes dung about or anything like that. No, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it didn't speak to you. I had a dream about a scarab. And,
No.
Nothing.
Nothing that epic.
It wasn't as deep as that, no.
Yeah. So let's see. What time is it there? It's probably about 7 going on.
10 to 5.
7 o'clock.
10 to 5.
Okay.
10 of 5.
10 of 5.
10 to 5.
So
What time's it there?
it is now 10:50 a.m.
Yep. And Scotty and I are in the same time zone, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to offer up.
We got 4 time zones in the United States. So East Coast to West Coast. So
Never remember what time it is anywhere, except for here.
right. So you've got to put the boys in a bath. They go to school tomorrow?
Yeah, they're at school and nursery.
Oh, right on. School is the parents' safe haven. 6 hours a day.
Or work is for me.
Yeah. Well, my kids have tomorrow off school, so they've got a long weekend today. I've got to take my son to the music center or the guitar center. He got an old amplifier from Grandpa the other day, and Raini's stepdad, and he's going to bring it in and exchange it and see if he can get something better with money he's earned.
Hold on, wait. How old of an amplifier?
I don't know. I didn't even get a good look at it. I don't even know what brand it is.
Because if it's a tube amp, he might want to hang on to that and hold off a little bit longer before trying to get something new.
If it's what kind?
A tube amp.
Okay.
So, radios used to have the old tubes.
Yep.
Amplifiers
a tube.
Tube amp.
I don't think it's that old, but I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, might as well. Tube amps have
a little one, I think, that's got
sound.
tubes in it. Oh, I found. Hang on. You two talk amongst each other for a second.
Okay. There he went. And here we are. That's-
Go to Wednesday.
How are
I hate
things
doing-
in Scotland?
Here we go.
Oh, good. I hate talking on live videos.
Oh, it's fantastic though.
That is
You get the real you. There's no edits. Well, this is for my vampire hunting, by the way. That's why that goes back. Let's see. It's in this box. That's what I'm after. And it's missing a part of the top. I've got all the pieces, and I was going to glue it back together. And then Raini accidentally knocked the whole thing on the floor.
Oh no!
So look at this. This is how it ended up in the box, even. Oh, that's distressing. But this was the one I was talking about a while ago. This baby.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's got. See, it was only missing a big piece. Now most of the top is caved in, so it's got that now. And I've got all the little pieces somewhere. But that's. Hey, boys!
sorry.
Boy.
Why say hello?
There's that glows when I plug that in. That whole interior glows orange.
Yep.
Like
That's the
little
tube.
sun down there. So it's pretty. So that's the radio I was talking about one time with all the tubes. I don't even know if it still lights up or if it still works after it got
You
dropped.
can plug it in and see what happens.
I could plug it in right. I could plug it in right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was how Scotty caught on fire. No.
Yes. Okay, if I catch on fire, you'll hear me scream.
He likes looking at himself.
Oh, here's my daughter. Here's my 9-year-old.
Uh-oh.
There's
Hey.
Ellie.
Hey.
That's Ellery. What's your name?
What's going on,
again?
Callum.
Callum.
Callum? Good
Oh,
name.
Scotland. That's Heather. Scotland. That's JP from the Dakotas. And that's Callum.
Soon to be back in Missouri.
Ellie, step this way a little bit so we can see you and it doesn't get cut off. I'm going to lean over and plug this in. We're going to see what happens. Stand
This
by.
should be interesting. If Scotty doesn't come back with his hair standing on end, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I
Yeah.
hear a big bang and a black face up here.
Stand back, Ellie.
Oh yeah, Jack.
Okay, it's plugged in.
Big pony.
Let's see what happens.
Bang.
Let's see if it makes any sound. Old radio that got dropped on the floor.
Drum.
Here we go. Oh.
When I
It's
get to
already
St. Louis,
on.
I'll have to plug in my big floor radio so you can hear
I
it just
You know,
warm
I
up.
think that this is where that tube came from. You see the little missing spot right there in the shadow? I
Yep.
think the tube I showed off. I think that's what came out of there because it's on right now, but it's not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Aw.
Once I get to St. Louis, and I have some time, I'll plug in the Zenith, the one from 38. It still has
Yeah.
all of the tubes in it. It'll still actually
Nice.
pick up a little bit of signal, and I'll wait
I
until
used to
one of these
collect
shows.
some of these, and of course, I'm only down to the one left, and it got totally obliterated. Hopefully, it's not. If that maybe that tube fell out and I just didn't put it back in. I don't remember exactly, but I don't know how Raini was doing something and she pushed it and it just went right off the edge, crack onto the concrete floor. So it just may not work anymore. For all I know. Or it's that tube. Look around here. Do you see the tube sitting here? It looks like one of these.
No, I don't see it, man. Sorry.
It looks like that. It's around here somewhere. See if it's in the little bins there or in this little pile of shit here. I got so much junk on my desk, you know. I got
It's,
junk like this on my desk. It's like, oh, I was robbed. Gonna turn on or not? Plugged in. Oh, that sucks. Oh well, never mind. Never mind.
All right, never minding.
Markers and stuff and blood pressure things. He looks like who? He looks like Zach. He does. My son-in-law. She says you look like my son-in-law, her brother-in-law. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you, I think. Hopefully.
Zach looks like, I've always described my daughter's husband as looking like Henry Cavill, who played Superman.
Yeah.
But he's not as ripped and big. He's tall and lean, but he looks like Henry Cavill. The last guy who played Superman. So there,
in my younger, in my younger, thinner days, I used to get the what's the guy's name? He did that song "Wicked Game."
Yeah.
Somebody might pop up with it in the chat. I used to get that all the time. You look like the guy that sang that song "Wicked Game," and
Callum, that is most illogical.
Indeed.
I see no logic in waving a pink furry creature with sharp teeth. I had to counter it with something.
Sometimes it's not about logic. Damn it, man! There's Klingons. Hurry up!
An emotional outburst. You green-blooded inhuman. Why, thank you, Doctor.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a doctor. Oh, wait.
Not an escalator.
Not a bricklayer.
Julie Newmar played the one woman on that planet that was pregnant. Oh, well, you can't really see what he looks like there, but there you go. There is Ellie and Zach.
Aye.
Okay.
At Disney World. So,
you know, if we're ever all hanging out at some point, if he needs a break, we just take my sunglasses and my jacket, right? Okay.
Right.
I'll try to make sure there aren't any fights when you get back.
Have you ever had, speaking of sunglasses, have you ever had a pair of hold on.
If you bust out the sunglasses that the Pizza Hut used to give out for the Back to the Future 2 promotions, I'm gonna laugh.
Oh, dude, no. This is I wouldn't have broken
God, I just dated myself.
I know, I figured. No, when I went and had my eye surgery, your eyes might be a little dilated yet, so we're going to give you these styling glasses. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Don't you just wish the music would come? Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, bam-bam-bam, bam-bam-bam-bam. So, there you go. Everybody needs a pair of these. And they're adjustable. They can fit me or my children.
So, that's
I can't find my tube. I was looking for the tube.
We've enjoyed watching you struggle to find it, though.
Well, I find all kinds of other things, and we can talk about those. I mean, you ever want to do a show and you got nothing to talk about? You go impromptu and you go, well, let's look through the shit on my desk and see what we can
Like
find.
Mary Poppins handbag, your desk.
Yeah. What else we got here? Oh, I got this cool wallet that somebody gave me. I thought it was really cool. It's metal. It's got a little book in it and pad and stuff like that. And but then I opened it up and his name's engraved in it.
Oops.
And it's like, what?
Awkward.
What else have I got here? What else do we have in here? We've got nothing super interesting. The old trading cards. Packs of those. But hold on, this won't go on for much longer, folks. I'm just looking to see if I've got it. Because I had it here. I don't know what I would have done with it. I wouldn't have done anything.
Many moments later.
Many moments later. I've got, I don't know what this is from, but it's a block of wood. Old lottery ticket.
What's in my granny's purse?
A sucker.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
sucker.
there was something
Okay.
else there?
Okay. Yeah. For a second there with the light, it looked like a raincoat of sorts.
Yeah. Oh, look what I found! A raincoat. I don't use those. What was that in
Really?
the original Rocky movie? He gets married, the small wedding, and a guy that's like a brother-in-law or something says, "Rocky, I got one word for you: condominiums." He's trying to tell him where to put his money. Condominiums. He goes, "Oh, we don't use those." So,
Oh Lord.
yeah, that caught on, right?
Indeed.
Whatever that is, magnetic. I don't know what that is, but it's magnetic. That's on my desk too. Screwdrivers.
Well, since we're just grabbing random things and showing it on camera, I've got a large bottle of brake fluid.
Oh, look. I have found my wiener.
I have some duct tape.
Whole package. You got a brush there? There you go. A small mini package of wieners.
I have here in my hands a garage door open.
Oh, does that get you into a garage somewhere? I've got matches. Oh, I was looking for matches the other day.
Fairy liquid heel.
There you go. What brand was that? Fairy brand?
Fairy.
Fairy brand.
Very
Wiener.
good.
Very.
Squeaky liquid.
I've got
It
this.
magically cleans everything.
Squeaky
Got this.
clean.
Oh,
Oh.
this used to hold all my bottles of Guinness, and now it's got all my pencils and things. Well, I hate to say it, but it is looking like the I've got survival cord, a little dainty bag to put it in.
That's a bag to put the survival cord in.
Yes.
That's not another little
Not
baggie
really.
for
Not
other
really.
things.
Days. Another thing.
What is this? Oh, there's my missing brush. That goes in this one. Well, I'm drawing up a 0 to find my
What were you looking for? Forgot now.
yeah. What the hell was I looking
He's looking for a tube.
No, a tube to go in the. It was sitting on my desk, and I showed it off the other day. I was talking about the old radio, and I thought it was sitting right there.
It's probably right in
But
front of your eyes and you can't see it because you've got so much shit.
I'm sure.
Probably
Talk
exactly
about my
what it is.
shit-filled desk. It's my desk to talk about.
Don't talk about my death like
desk
that.
Don't talk about my shit like that.
Really?
Only I can.
Oh, found a knife. This is my letter opener, but it's a knife. It's kind of fun. I got that in Egypt, and it was made in China. It says right on it.
I just found 5p.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, nice. What can you buy for 5p anymore?
Fuck all.
Nothing.
Fuck off.
Nothing at all.
I found my eye patch
Sounds about right.
that I got from Dave, Uncle Dave. Arr, arr, swab me decks.
Or you could be the new
Those
Nick
were
Fury.
pirate pickup lines. Did you know that? We used to do that at festivals.
Swab me
pirate
deck.
pickup lines, and we'd be like this. We go. All right, I'd like to board you and swab your lower decks. Or it would be
No, this strange man offered to clean my boat for me. So
yeah. How'd you like to come on board and climb me mizzen mast? So, well, how can I climb it if it's mizzen? So
I'll hang you from my
Oh.
yard arm.
I'll hang you from my yard arm. Oh, hoist them sails. I like the
Undo that corset and let me see your mainsail.
I like the cut of your jib.
Oh,
So-
God.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, this is bad.
Anyways,
That turned quick.
what's that?
That turned quick.
Yes. So, well, now that my desk is even messier than it was when I started, and I haven't shown you even half of the stuff on here.
But you found some stuff.
I still
Turn the
have not
camera around
found-
so we can actually see the.
I
Yeah,
don't know that
yeah.
Oh, here you go. All right, yeah, let's back it back out to this. Oh, see, you really can't see much unless I. There you go. There's all of that junk,
Looks like the desk of a creative type.
and then there is. It's usually more organized than this, but then we go this way, and you got microphone stuff and more junk on this side, and hurry up! It doesn't want to tilt now for some reason. I don't know. Watch, I'll unplug something. So there we go. Woo! Boy, that was like a job. That was like work. I think I'm gonna need to take a break now.
Where's your pizza?
Just the Picard move. So. All right. I did not find the tube. I was going to plug it in live and see if we blew anything up. But apparently we can't do that today. Maybe that is providential. Maybe I'm being prevented from plugging that in so I don't blow up into a ball of flame.
Could be. Could be. You're meant for greater things, Scotty.
I'm meant for greater things.
Yeah.
Plugging in my old radio.
You weren't supposed to blow up.
Hold the phone.
You found it?
Ta-da. I found it.
He found it.
I love your voice. I like to just talk to you so I can talk like you.
You do not want to get me anywhere near Scotland or Ireland and alcohol.
Why?
Because I literally can't help myself, and it just starts when I speak. It starts just rolling into the.
Oh! I just
I
plugged
can't do
that one
anything.
in.
I would probably do the same.
Hold on. Nothing blew up, but
Say that again, Heather.
I said I'd probably do the same with you. Take the piss out of your accent.
Yeah,
My wee boy, he's just turned 5 and he's got an American accent, but I think that's because of YouTube.
Because of what?
YouTube.
Mm,
you hear that?
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You hear that?
Yep.
Something's happening.
I don't know. You can't see because the lights are too bright. But look at all the orange light coming on in there. That was.
I can hear it. Well, it's not the light, but the
Sounds like it's
radio.
going to blow up.
Hold on. And now, coming to you live from the Poo-Poo, high atop the Poo-Poo Tower in Wanahakalugi Beach. I'm trying to get the dial to move.
Oh, watch what you're doing.
We now return you to your regular programming.
We now return you to
Today's
regular
show is brought to you
programming.
by Powdered Milk Biscuits.
I can't. The knob is missing to turn the
Uh-oh.
stations. Hold on.
Sounds
Hold
like
on.
a personal
One of
problem.
these- My knob is missing. I can't turn nothing. Let's see. There was a screwdriver right here in one of these. Right here. Hold on. I know this is riveting radio, but there's no bit in it.
You need to do a wee bit of organising.
Get your letter opener. Is there there's a slit on the post,
Yes.
right, where you can put a screwdriver in?
There is. Here's my letter opener. Stand back. against net.
The
Really doing
hilarity of you working on a radio with a knife, Scotty.
I'm attempting to build a mnemonic circuit utilizing stone knives and bear skins. What's that from?
I'm drawing a blank. I should probably know it though.
The original Star Trek episode, the city on the edge of forever, where they're stuck in the 1920s.
Yep.
And Spock is trying to build something utilizing stuff like this. And she walks in and sees this whole thing going, what on earth is that? He says, I'm attempting to construct a mnemonic circuit using stone knives and bear skins. No,
It's right up there with right up there with Kirk making gunpowder and shooting a rock out of a bamboo. Not that you couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
Not that you couldn't do that, but
that is all we're getting. Wait. Let's see. This has all got all this coiled copper wire in here.
Yep, that's the antenna.
So move that around. It could just be reception down here, but man, when this thing goes, it goes. But we get back into the dark. Nah, it's too bright in here. You can't see what it does. Oh well. So much for that demonstration. We know it works, but it just could be a couple of wires, and then I've got to do my gluing the top back together, and we can hopefully make this thing. We can make it better than it was. Better, louder, faster. There. I'm going to unplug it so it doesn't set itself on fire. You know, you never know. I left this thing on one day, walked upstairs for a couple hours. I came back and it was all glowing red and it smelled hot. And I went, ooh, I don't think I'll leave that on anymore.
Yeah, they need to be cleaned out periodically. And get all the dust in there.
Right. Phew. Well, that little episode of our show is over. And we are well over time.
Scotty does science.
It's the way it is. Sometimes, you know, I will be at a point where I don't want to talk anymore for the day, and somebody will hit something, a topic, and I go, oh, let me expound on that for a second. And a half an hour later, so, you know, that happens. So
I have to go anyway. I need to get them.
You gotta go. You gotta get out of here. Yeah, I know how it is. You're really like, oh God, how do I get out of here gracefully? Oh, I gotta go.
I've got a thing that I need to.
I got that thing over there that I gotta. Yeah.
I gotta get away from these two losers.
Did you see? In fact, did you see the pictures of my car last night when I posted it on?
I saw the video, or the video that you took. Somebody ran into her car in the middle of the night and took.
Oh no.
Her parked car.
As a write-off, so
they are catching.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They're seeing it on some of the CC video, though.
Yeah.
TV.
Everybody's got Ring doorbells, so all the way up the street. So
nice.
Anybody capture a license plate or anything like that?
Not the video that I got from my mum's, but it's a big long street, so he's came down it, and there's probably about 10 or 12 ring door cameras up the street. And they'll be pointing out, and they'll see what it says.
Hopefully, you'll be able to pick up the.
I think it's a company
asshole's license plate.
Yeah, hopefully.
Unless they were drunk and didn't even know they ran into you, but they tore off the whole front side of her car.
Oh,
yeah.
So
the whole bumper, because I went outside like 10:30 last night, Friday night. And I looked over and I was like, is that somebody lying in front of my car? And then I was like, no, that's my whole bumper. Like
that's my whole front end of my car.
That's something lying in front of my car? No, that is my car lying in front of my car.
Well,
I just
Oh,
laughed when
Lord.
you do it.
well, keep us posted as you find out what the neighbors might have. That'd be
Yeah.
great to
Yeah.
find out if somebody's got the license plate on the car.
Well, it was a white transit van. It was a refrigerated van, so it'll be somebody's work van, and they will have damage to their car van. So
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
know it's
So
not like
how many white
doing
transnet
forensics.
vans?
It's not like doing forensics on a murder or anything, but if you could get them to come up with, even the white van that went through my neighborhood at this time, somebody 10
to have
blocks away,
the
maybe.
exact time it hit my car, it was 10:02. So every doorbell on the way up there will have whatever name is
Yeah.
on the side of his car, van. Sorry,
That'd be fantastic.
and I'll go and find him and then rip his bumper off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just take their bumper.
Just take,
An eye
yeah,
for
I
an
think
eye.
I'll take this from your car now.
Leave a note. You broke mine, so I took yours. Have a good day.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. Bye.
Strap it to your car like a trophy and drive around past in front of their business with it on there.
Yes. Roger says, that's sounding like you were resurrecting an old vibrator from across the room. Had to come back to the phone to see what it was. Just an old radio. This thing dates, by the
Was it?
way, to 1936 or 38 is the
Nice.
model. And it's
What
got
brand?
original tubes in it, which is fantastic.
Do you know what brand?
Yes, I do. It is the brand is, it's right on here. See if you can see this. It's right on the main dial.
Good Lord.
Emerson. It's an Emerson.
Okay, Emerson.
Emerson.
Nice. Very nice.
And it's got that black non-plastic, whatever that stuff's called.
It's like Bakelite or something.
I definitely need to go now, so I'll just say goodbye then. You can carry on.
Yes. Well, you go take care of the boys.
We'll do.
And
Enjoy
it's
the
nice
rest
to
of your
see you
day.
as always, Heather.
Yep.
Enjoy the
It's
rest
good
of
seeing
your
you,
day.
Heather.
You
See
enjoy
you
your
later.
evening. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, Heather.
All right. And I think that's going to be our cue to get out of here as well.
It's my cue to start vacuuming.
I got something else going on. Half my family's gone. So might go out and mow some grass.
Well, if you want to come help me clean the house, that'd be. No.
Looks like you're doing a great job. I would just put them away. Why you're taking the condition of my desk as my resume on cleaning? So anyway.
Don't think you're right for this job. Saw your desk.
There's we're just gonna look a little bit more, Thanks for applying, but we'll get back to you. So all right.
Oh Lord.
Yes, Morgan Snow, it's alive! It's alive! It's crackling, it's alive, she said.
Yep.
$5 to show it. Missed that one. Anyway, I'm going to let you go, brother, because I'm going to go. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, as always.
And we will talk soon.
Sounds good.
See you. Oh, wait. Is there a Wicked Women tonight?
I have no idea. I think
she's off doing her convention.
Yeah, she's been so wrapped up with chasing Jason Momoa around her car at Comic-Con. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
She's busy.
Roger Rabbit says no Wicked Women. So, and he says, thanks for the company this morning. Nice to finally be around for once. Nice to have you, brother. Glad you were here. All right, Jason, get out of here. I'm
out of here.
Soon.
All right.
Have fun today. Everybody else, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of our non-show show of the week, Sundays. And that's all I got. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again tomorrow night. We go Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Intrepid Radio, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so, you know what? You all have a fun Sunday. Live long and prosper.